What is going on, everybody? Welcome to CANAM Fantasy Football Podcast. We're stoked to have you here. Today we're going to take it a little bit easy. We're going to talk about opt-outs in the NFL, as well as talk about my boy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited to talk to these guys. It's been a little while. Why don't we go ahead and start off with good old Tyler. Tyler, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Also joining us today, Aetan.
Busted. I was just going to say we might want to rename this whole podcast to the Clyde Edward Hype Train podcast, because I have a feeling that Ryan's going to be drooling a little bit today, and I think he's got a little bit of reason to now. So I think I might have to take my pessimistic approach around this kid and take it back a notch, because the hype train's starting, and I know who's the conductor.
It's me. I'm the conductor. I'm the conductor, everyone. But still, maybe it's funny because the last time we talked about Clyde, we're talking about how high his draft position was already. Mm-hmm. Now it's gone a lot higher, but we'll talk about that in just a moment.
Absolutely.
So this just came out. The NFL has set their opt-out deadline for this coming Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. The league and the NFLPA recently agreed to revise terms for the collective bargaining agreement in order to stage the 2020 season amid the pandemic. Players are supposed to have a full week after the two sides finalized an agreement to decide whether they'll play in 2020. Now, we've already seen a whole bunch of people opt out. Why don't we start with you, Aetan? Aetan, what is your take on all of this?
Well, my take on all of this is a lot of these players are taking a safe approach. They're not happy with the contracts they kind of have, and they're kind of getting the guaranteed money and just making sure that they get it. Because if the league doesn't play, these players that have opted out are still going to get paid. Whereas if they'll get paid more than players who are agreeing to go, and if the league cancels, they're going to get paid less. So there's a financial gain here that some of these players are measuring, and they're gambling with potentially the season not going, which doesn't fill me with a lot of good, warm, fuzzy feelings. But it's kind of the dollars and cents of this business. And I'm excited for this deadline to hit, and I just want to, every single milestone that's closer to actual football starting is a milestone that I wait with bated breath, and I'm hopeful that this all gets sort of figured out.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, when the NFL realized that there was probably going to be a bunch of people who were like, instead of getting cut, I'm going to go ahead and opt out and make sure I get a six-figure salary this year. They're like, oh no. Damn.
Yeah.
They're trying to push forward as soon as possible. Tyler, do you think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be taking advantage of that?
I think so. I think we've only seen a couple dominoes fall. I think you might see a lot more higher profile names start to get in there. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate right now who those names might be, but there is some rumors on the internet, some higher level, actually fantasy relevant players that might actually decide to opt out, and they already have been a couple, so that we're probably going to talk about pretty soon. But yeah, I think it's going to be, I don't want to say exciting week, but it's going to be definitely a newsworthy week for sure.
Who would have thought that Darrell Williams would Damien Williams. Sorry, I always get those two mixed up. Who would have thought that Damien Williams would have been one of the first to actually opt out? Like that for me was pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's the biggest one in terms of fantasy relevance for sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of very key linemen that are going out all over the board, but they don't have the same implications fantasy wise as Damien Williams does. And if quite frankly, he's the only one in terms of fantasy, in my opinion, so far that has opted out that you really need to change your opinions with your rankings in fantasy going into your draft. Besides that, some of these teams are definitely going to be getting weaker, but I don't know if you can really measure too much fantasy implications on them.
No, that's very true. I think that the only other fantasy relevant player that has recently had been put to the COVID reserve list is Matthew Stafford. Does that affect Tyler? Does that affect the possibility of you drafting him? this season?
Well, I mean, for me, honestly, Stafford was never going to be drafted by me. So, but I mean, as far as the fantasy value goes, yeah, I think it's definitely a cause for concern. But so how? Sorry, I didn't see how long is he going to be on that reserve list for? Is that a
That's the thing.
14?
I'm not really
day?
sure about what the rules are with the reserve list. All I know is that they're placed on it.
I think they're
Right.
putting special rules in for COVID, but anyway, sorry, carry on.
So realistically, if he's reinstated before most people, because we're probably 3 weeks out from a lot of drafts starting to happen. So realistically, if he's reinstated before your draft is happening, I don't think it's going to affect his rating at all. So it really depends on, is he on the list while you're drafting? That'll definitely affect it. If he's back, then he's probably back where he started in the first place.
Okay, so apparently in order for Stafford to return, 10 days have to pass since the initial positive test. 5 days must elapse since the initial positive test, and 2 consecutive negative tests are completed, separated by 24 hours within a 5-day period. And then return must be approved by the team's head physician. So these are all moves that I think are really good, obviously, because who really wants... Okay, this is the crazy thing, because if we peel the curtain back a little bit, all three of us happen to be Canadians, and right now NHL playoff hockey is happening, and it's really exciting. And what the NHL has done has created 2 bubble teams. Now, you can't facilitate. Sorry, bubble cities. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, with those bubble cities, so far, and there's been a slew of testing.
I think it's like 74,000 now.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. It was 7,000.
Sorry, 7,000. 7,100. Yeah, sorry, I said that wrong. I was looking at the number, and then, I added another digit.
That's a little less nuts. It's still a lot.
It's still a lot, yeah.
There's been 5 million tests.
Yeah. Let's just keep adding numbers to it.
Why not? I mean, at this point. But realistically, what we're seeing here is the NHL is actually able to come back, and with little to no damage from the pandemic. Why is the NFL not looking into possibly bubbling some of those teams, especially if they want to get those sweet ad revenue dollars, those sweet TV deals that they have? They want to get the revenue in, obviously. Why not go the extra mile to protect your players?
I think their main challenge is we're used to seeing almost all the games on a Sunday, right? So if you have a bubble city, you're going to need all those teams still playing. So you need fields for all those teams to play in. So what you're looking at 16 games a week. So even if they spread it out over the weekend, say they have half the game Saturday, half the game Sunday, and a couple Monday nighters every single week, you're still looking at that's about 7 games Saturday, Sunday, and then 2 on Monday. So that's still a ton of games. You can't do that in one facility. You're going to need at least 3 or 4 playable fields, which I guess if you're not having fans, you don't need a full stadium. So maybe Southern California is a good spot for it. Maybe Florida, Texas. But then I say these, but then these are like hot spots where there's hot spots. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a correlation between the amount of football stadiums and the amount of positive cases, but I don't know. That's maybe something to look into as well. But
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if a place like I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the map of what's not a hotspot right now, but I don't know. I don't know if maybe like Washington might be a good place for it, but do they even have enough stadiums to do it in? Like, I don't know. So,
well, it depends on, you could go possibly use Husky Stadium if Pac-12 doesn't end up doing, anything. Yeah, apparently there's going to be a strike there. We don't have much news on that or much details, but I just read that apparently there's going to be a boycott from Pac-12 players, which I think is good. They really should.
They're not getting paid.
They're not getting paid. Exactly. Yeah. And unless they know exactly what the safety precautions are, why risk that? What's the point? Yep. I don't get that.
Yeah, let me just jump in with my 2 cents about the whole bubble city idea. It's just not the same to compare it to hockey or basketball. You're talking about a sport that plays once a week, and then you have six days and 20 hours of non-football play that you're stuck in a city. It's a little bit different. It's a lot of time for these guys to go a little bit cabin fever. Losing their minds a bit, being stuck in this bubble city, not allowed to do anything. I just don't know if it's fair to even compare the two in that sense. but it would definitely be better for us as fans if they were to, make the sacrifice and do it. I just don't know if the players are willing to do that. There's a lot of ego on both sides of the football between players, and there's a lot of ego between owners, and there's a lot of ego of the NFL as a whole, thinking that they're above everything else and they can do whatever they want. So their own arrogance might kick them in the butt a bit, but I also can see why they're not a fan of doing it as a bubble city idea.
Yeah, Tyler, any last words?
I think also you got to consider practice facilities for all these guys too. Yeah. So you need your fields and your practice facilities. I mean, all of a sudden your bubbles, it's just getting too big now, and realistically, your spots on NFL teams are way larger than NBA or NHL teams. So
locker rooms are like 80 people. Yeah.
So I agree that you can't really compare the two leagues in that sense, because there's just too many heads to be accounted for.
Well, definitely that is something that we're going to be paying a lot of attention to coming up. The opt-out deadline. Drafts are happening. It's affected all the drafts. It's affected the CANAM draft as well. We're really excited that we're currently in the middle of an expansion draft. And for all the people from CANAM Dynasty, all 9 of you that are not me, the deadline is, of course, going to be mirroring the deadline for the opt-outs. So we're just we're waiting for the MPK picks. So Friday at noon, get them in. All right, moving right along. Let's go ahead and take a look at the current Fantasy Pros half point per reception rankings. And all you can see is this tab research. Okay. So as you can see here, it's pretty much what we've seen so far. Christian McCaffrey, the big three. You've got Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas in the 4 or 5 spot. You can usually see those two switching up between each other. Got Dalvin Cook there, a little bit more reassurance now that he's reported to camp. That's no guarantee. That's no guarantee, mind you.
But I mean, with the new CBA, he's going to get fined $50,000 a day for not showing up. There's no way he's holding out. If he holds out for a week, I mean, he's losing $350,000. That's absurd. He's not going to miss any game time. I'm going to give an Aetan guarantee on that.
Wow, that means a lot, guys.
It means whatever you want it to mean, I guess.
Sure. Still something to look after. He hasn't missed anything as of this moment, but that contract has yet to be resolved. And unless you see pen to paper, who knows in this crazy, crazy world, right? We've got Derrick Henry next, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill rounds out the top 10. Joe Mixon in the 11th spot, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 12th overall, RB8. RB8 is the general consensus right now. The Clyde should be going there. Like, that to me, like, I'm excited about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Obviously. I've been stoked about him for a long while. I can't see myself in a 12-man drafting him in the first round. I just can't. I can't. And I get it. I get the projections.
I think at this point, I get the
Kareem Hunt comparables, but I mean, it's just too high for me.
Yeah, at this point, you're drafting him for what you're hoping he can potentially hit, rather than taking him in that spot. You're basically saying this guy's going to be a top 10 running back, which is the best you could hope for him. And I just think there's no upside to the pick. You're gambling way too much on a player that hasn't proven anything, and he could hit that point, but then you're wasting draft capital to get him. So you're not even getting an advantage by taking him.
I agree. I mean, Ryan's obviously excited because he got him in an expansion draft, like a rookie draft.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that's the best pick in the expansion draft.
But if you're going through like a redraft league and you see him on the board, I'm skeptical about RB8. I mean, I could see him RB top 12, yeah, for sure. Like if he's, I don't know, who are, Ryan, do you have some names that are like behind it?
Sure, I can do that unless you want. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, let's just go ahead and pop it up and take a look all together.
Sure.
That's fun.
Yep.
So like right under Clyde, we've got Hopkins, Godwin. You got Chubb there. I would probably, I don't know, like I'm not big on Chubb this particular year, so I might go Clyde there.
Oh, I take Chubb over Clyde.
Yeah, Chubb even I would take Drake over Clyde right now, just because Drake.
I would
And-
take
even though-
Drake for sure.
And
given a
Jacobs
lot-
and Sanders. I would take all those guys. I think I put, in my personal ranking, I put him maybe tied with Aaron Jones right at the RB13.
Mhm.
Oh, I take him over Aaron Jones. I think just because I think Aaron Jones is gonna have a fun year.
I take him over Sanders.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I take him over Sanders.
I think that's a close call. That's kind of where I'd put him in right with Sanders. So that'd be like I do some more research and think between the two of those. But I'd probably put Jacobs,
Yeah.
Drake, and Chubb over him for sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say for
We're
sure.
within
Who knows?
3 players of each other.
We got to see how training camp goes. We got to see maybe someone gets signed in KC for all we know. So who knows?
At
There
this
could be some
point,
other-
it doesn't matter if anyone gets signed. Like, who's it going to be? Even if it was LaShawn McCoy, which has
No,
gone over
McCoy's
to the
fine.
Bucs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's still like, he knows the system. He's an aging RB. He would get some run, but still, it wouldn't be so much that it would eat into what Clyde would be able to do.
Is Ajayi still a free agent right now? Jay Ajayi?
Yeah,
Is he
he's
out?
still
Oh,
a
yeah.
free agent. Yeah, same with
So there-
Freeman.
Oh, Devontae Freeman, absolutely, yeah. So there's a couple
Yeah.
guys that could put a
Freeman
wrench
would
in.
sink him value
Yeah, that
wise.
could put a wrench into
I
your
don't
plans
think
there.
so at all. No way. No, after last season with Atlanta, like, he basically was so good in the Atlanta system. And last year, he was not very good. No
Yeah.
offense to him. He's
I
a
just
great
mean
football
it would
player.
Yeah, it would cut into his snaps. I don't mean he would take over the bell cow role or anything.
Yeah, Helaire is still
Um,
the dynasty guy for sure, no question.
Yeah.
But for this year, I mean, it's hard to trust rookies in a year where we don't know how training camps are going to look, right? So yeah.
And everyone's gunning for the Chiefs, so they're going to have a lot of pressure on them.
This is
Oh
true.
yeah, they're going to.
Now, let me just read off some of the stats that Kareem Hunt had. Now, of course, this isn't a direct comparable, but in his rookie season with KC, he had 272 rushes for 1,327 yards, 8 touchdowns. His receiving totals were he was targeted 63 times, caught 53 of them for 455 yards, and managed 3 touchdowns that way. Now, again, not a direct comparable, but I think that when you take a look at what Kareem Hunt was able to do, Kareem Hunt, a way better between the tackles runner, I would say. But then you look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a better pass catching back, and he offers a lot of shiftiness behind the line if you've seen some of his highlights. So, you take some of the rush away, but then you add, especially when it comes to when you're looking at half point and full point per reception leagues, you're adding more high value touches as far as the catches are concerned. So if he goes out and gets 55 receptions this year, I mean, it's difficult to not think that he's going to be a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason not to jump on the hype train with him. We're talking about him being a top 12, top 13 RB, even even when we're saying take him over, or even when we were saying players like Drake and stuff we'd take over him, he's still in the top 14. So there's nothing wrong with being high on this guy. I just think that you're wasting high draft capital taking him as high as RB8. That's all.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes total sense. Tyler, any last words?
Well, the Helaire specifically, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. One thing about his receptions, though, is that with a rookie, if you get a lot of early drops, that could be a big problem. That could sink a rookie's confidence level, right? So that's it's another added risk. I mean, but it's fantasy football. It's all about taking risks, right? So I don't know if it's a detractor now, but it is something maybe to keep in mind going forward.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There's risk with every player. I like Clyde, maybe just not as much as the rest of the industry. So we're going to go ahead and do a 12-man mock. We're doing half point per reception. And looks like I have the number 2 pick. Hey, I don't mind that at all. And there it is on the screen.
Down at 11.
Down at 11?
Yeah, there we go.
And then, Tyler, where are you at?
Mine's just loading now. Let's see here.
He's at 7.
Okay, so just a reminder, what we're going to do here is we're going to just kind of chat about the draft as it goes along. Let's just give some of our thoughts. I think that in the number 2 slot, you can't go wrong. Half-point perception. With Saquon, I'll go ahead and just do that. It's the easy pick, I know. but at the same time, it's the right pick, I feel so. And
All
then
right,
Tyler,
So it's coming down to me. So we got Saquon, Zeke, Kamara, Thomas, and Delvin. So I think I got an easy choice with Derrick Henry right here. So I would have. I would personally take Derrick Henry over Delvin Cook right now, just because we're not sure about that Delvin Cook situation. And I kind of like Derrick Henry a little bit more anyway. So
well, that's fair. It's fair. It's a good pick. We've got Aetan on the clock.
Oh boy, do I want to take your guy? Now that we've talked about it. No,
Yeah.
I think at this point, I kind of like going with the strong wide receiver here because there's about five running backs that are right now behind right now that I'll get one of them on the wraparound here. So I want to take what I think is the best available player, and that's Julio Jones at 111 here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that pick for sure.
Oh,
And
Clyde
then
went right
Clyde
after him.
and Miles.
Yeah. So now I'll.
Well, Team 12 has an interesting quarterback situation there. Miles Sanders and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I like that combo.
Yep.
You mean running back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wraps back around to me here, and I'm just looking at I got to take a running back at this point, and it's kind of between Nick Chubb and Kenyon Drake, and I think you just have to. Everyone keeps fading Nick Chubb because of Kareem Hunt, but he's still so darn explosive. I think I'm still going to go with Nick Chubb here.
All right.
All right. And Drake went off the board.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill, Kenyon Drake, Chris Godwin off the board.
All
Tyler.
right. So those two big tight ends are right there, Kelsey and Kittle. Also Hopkins, who's in a new situation. I've talked a lot about how I'm not a fan of drafting tight ends with high, but in this particular situation, I think I'm going with Kelsey here. Because
Cool.
I'm just not huge on Hopkins. I think his talent level is absolutely there. I just don't trust that Kingsbury offense. I think they're a little overhyped, so I'm going with Kelsey here.
Well, that sort of advantage is going to be pretty decent for you. And hey, I've got Kittle in the window right here. I'm going to do that as well. It's a pretty easy pick right there, I think. Now, at this point, let's see here. RB, we're looking at Gurley, Carson, Fournette, Melvin Gordon still available. Wide receiver, Kenny Golladay is still there. I feel like that's probably the way I go. Yeah, I don't see any other way to do that. I typically would like to get out of the first three with two good running backs, but let's go ahead and just see how this goes. So I have one of every position except for quarterback and tight end. Or no, I do have tight end.
Like
nice
team
times.
Running back, eh? Interesting.
Yeah. That's how I think that a month ago, that's probably how my team would typically look in that spot. Maybe not Aaron Jones, but three running backs right in the middle seems pretty easy. After I picked Kenny Golladay, Mike Evans went off the board, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, and Leonard Fournette to team 6.
All right. Well, for any fans that have watched this show before, they know I'm big on James Conner. It might be a little bit of a reach here. I got Gurley on the board. Being a Rams fan, I'm a Gurley fan. I think he's going to do great in Atlanta. But I feel like James Conner is going to have a huge bounce back here, so I'm going with him right now.
Ooh.
Oh, Gurley went just before. I was going to definitely take a flyer on Gurley there, but he kind of went one pick just before me. We had Odell, Cooper Kupp, and Todd Gurley go between Tyler and myself. So I'm looking at the board here, and I'm not a big fan. If I can't get the top two tight ends, which I am a huge fan of doing, I don't like any of the other ones. I don't like going for Mark Andrews, Zach Ertz, Waller, or Ingram. Those are the next 4. I think that you're paying way too much for a little gain between them and a guy that you can get near the end of the draft. So at this point, I'm down to just 2 positions, and that's wide receiver and running back. And I definitely am quite happy to see Adam Thielen here. But it's too tough to not take another running back at this stage, considering where I'll be you know what? I'm going to go back on my word. I'm going to take Thielen here, and hopefully, Team 12 doesn't take any running backs, and they didn't. So
yeah. Oh, so you
Your
got both the
gamble
guys.
paid off.
yeah, so that works. So now I get to choose my running back here, which is either Chris Carson, Melvin Gordon, or I guess Jonathan Taylor. Those are my next three. There is Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson in there, and Ingram, but I'm not really high on those three. I think there's just too much risk involved. Le'Veon Bell is going to get major volume, but I just feel like he's so close to getting hurt, and he can't really do anything in that offense. With the amount of work he gets, I think you're just gambling on him getting hurt for not much result. So I think I'm actually going to go with Melvin Gordon going to Denver here, which is a bit of a gamble, but I think he might find some lanes up in the Mile High City.
Right, and even though Philip Lindsay is there, I think that they both can be productive running backs in that offense. Next off the board was Calvin Ridley. Then we had A.J. Brown, David Johnson to Team 8. So back to you, Tyler. It looks like you have a Ram right in the window there, and Robert Woods.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
It's very tempting. I saw his name pop up, and I was very tempted, but then I'm looking at these other running backs here. So Chris Carson, who I think is going to lose some time. Le'Veon, I agree with everything Aetan said. I think he's a big volume, low production guy. Jonathan Taylor is an interesting carrot there. I don't know. You know what? Because I'm a Rams fan and because I don't have a wide receiver yet, I'm going Robert Woods here. Let's go
Nice.
ahead.
I love Robert Woods in that spot.
That's a beautiful pick right there.
I think he's got
upside. He's got great upside.
Well, off the board after that, Zach Ertz, the third tight end. I've been fading Zach Ertz everywhere. Fourth?
Oh,
yeah. Mark went?
Mark Andrews went, yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Sorry, bud.
No. Hey, I appreciate the correction. Chris Carson next up, David Montgomery. David Montgomery, I think in the fourth round, that's really good. I probably would have wanted to go that direction. Le'Veon Bell just before me. I am all in on Jonathan Taylor. I just see that opportunity, that offensive line in Indy. I just think that there's a lot to like about that. T.Y. Hilton recently reportedly is having some more soft tissue issues. So that's something to look at, possibly looking at Paris Campbell, a flyer on Paris Campbell. Is that actually going to happen this year?
Go ahead. Yeah.
He was definitely a huge disappointment last year, I got to say. Paris Campbell. I had him in the rookie draft last year, and I could have taken DK Metcalf. I kicked myself about that one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Admit it, it's because he was a Seahawk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely Probably why I didn't go with Chris Carson in that last round right there.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are in the fifth round. I'm having trouble trying to figure out which way I'm going to go with this. I mean, you've got Tyler Lockett, Terry McLaurin, DJ Chark, DK Metcalf. Honestly, I don't think Chark's in that conversation for me. I know that DK is super trendy. Let's go DK. Let's do it. I just picked DK Metcalf, and I feel great about it. All right. After DK, Terry McLaurin goes right away. DJ Chark, Darren Waller. I don't think Darren Waller in the fifth will ever happen for me. AJ Green in the fifth as well is just kind of like I would hope he would fall to the sixth. That's kind of like if he's in the sixth, then I can't let him fall any further for me.
I don't know. I can still let him fall.
Yeah,
I don't know. You're paying high capital for a guy that completely was dead last year. He's only getting older. There's so many mouths to feed on that offense. I'm very cautious of AJ Green. I don't think I'll have any shares of him, quite personally. But let's let Tyler talk his pick through here.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, Tyler Lockett seems like the easy pick here, but I'm not sure if I still got my flex open. I kind of like filling a flex in with a running back here. Mm-hmm. So some options here. I got Singletary, and this is what I'm probably going with is Mostert right there, sitting pretty high up on the chart here. Cam Akers is there as a Rams fan. You'd think I'd go with him, but honestly, I feel like that this year that spot is still not going to go directly to him. I think he's going to get a lot of third down looks, but you know what? I'm going with Raheem Mostert here.
Yep. That's a good pick, especially now that they've kind of resolved that
He's
issue with his contract. So that's good.
So here's where I'm a little disappointed. I was really hoping to handcuff my Chubb with Kareem Hunt, but he went one pick after Tyler's Mostert pick. So I was kind of hoping to just lock that backfield up, and then even if Hunt does take more shares than he should, I would be safe. Mm-hmm. So
a fifth rounder for a handcuff, though. How do you feel about going that high for?
I don't think he's a handcuff.
Value.
I don't think he's a handcuff. Yeah. And you know what? You guys have been talking about Tyler Lockett for the last three of your picks, and he's still here. So I think I just have to take him. I mean, at this point, I think I'd be insulting both of your guys' intelligence if I let him pass through me. So I'm just going to grab him.
I mean, isn't that what fantasy football is about? Is insulting your friends' intelligence?
Yeah. But sometimes your friends are right. So you got to learn when to insult them and when to listen to them. So.
I could have easily went Tyler Lockett with my pick, and I would have been just as happy. So
why not? Yeah, I'm looking at the running backs, and I definitely want to try to grab one now. I'm not really liking what's there. I'm not a big fan of Singletary. DeAndre Swift, I mean, I think he could be pretty good, considering this is a one-year pool that we're drafting for. I kind of want to grab a guy that's a little bit more safe. So I think I might actually look at another wide receiver here and get my fourth. No, I'm kind of talking myself through it, but I think I am going to grab. Oh, I'm just going to get Singletary.
I don't think that's a bad spot for Singletary.
For my third running back, it's not bad.
Yeah, you're not banking on, you might be whipping him into the flex with Tyler Lockett, switching between the two or whoever else, that's not bad at all. And there's going to be games where Singletary is going to go off. It's just the question is, can he keep up that efficiency that he had last year? Really quickly, we've got Hunter Henry, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray off the board. I think I really don't like that Hunter Henry pick. That's absurd. That's way too high. I think at the end of this particular round, let's go ahead and take a quick look at all of our rosters. And Tyler, tell us what your thoughts are.
Well, I want to go wide receiver because I'm looking at it and I could still fill out my starting roster here if I go wide receiver. But I'm looking at the list and I'm not. Oh, you know what? I know who I'm going to. I'll talk about a couple guys ahead. Sure. So Jarvis Landry, I'm not sold on Baker at all. I don't think he's going to get the ball out, especially with Odell probably getting a lot more touch or a lot more looks. Tyler Boyd, I think he's a great player. I think it's going to take Burrow a bit of time to get some chemistry with him. Gallup, I think he's going to get hurt by who's the rookie? Is it CeeDee Lamb or is it someone else?
No, it's okay. Let me just quickly jump in here since you're talking about my Dallas. You're taking Jason Witten out of the offense and Randall Cobb out of the offense. Both those guys combined got 160 targets last season. Michael Gallup out-targeted Murray Cooper. There's no way he's getting hurt by CeeDee Lamb joining this roster.
CeeDee Lamb and then Jarwin a bit more. Okay, so you would go Gallup here. The name I'm looking at that I'm liking is Marvin Jones. Is a little bit. I mean, he's further down. It's a bit of a reach. But I'm liking Marvin Jones right here because I think Detroit's gonna be looking like they're gonna be playing a lot of garbage time minutes, and they're gonna be chucking the ball down the field. And Galladay is gonna get double coverage. I think Marvin Jones is gonna look pretty good right here. So I'm taking him.
For a second wide receiver, Marvin Jones is a beauty pick. Is it too high? I don't necessarily think so. You're getting your guy. Marvin Jones possibly gone by the time that it wraps back around to you. Who knows? Off the board, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, Evan Ingram. Again, that's the wrong round, I feel. Deebo Samuel, it's like this computer player doesn't realize that there is an injury. Would you how high would you guys take Deebo?
Not very. Maybe 10th round. I'm not overly high on anyone in their offense, except for Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think as far as their air offense, Kittle definitely. I think San Fran wants to play that ground and pound, like strong defense, strong running game. So that's why I liked Mostert where he was. But I don't think Jimmy G is going to be throwing the ball a ton other than to Kittle. So I'm not huge on any of their wide receivers right now.
You know what? I'm gonna have to check his stats again because I think I might be underrating him a bit, but I just didn't think he was that great. Yeah, 800 yards, 57 catches, 6 touchdowns. Did he play the full year?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I take Gallup over him. I'll say
The
that.
talent's there, but he does. There is the constant specter of injury with him. So
Let's just say there's 4 receivers here on the board I'm looking at that'll take over him.
yeah,
Just
that's
looking
fair.
at the board right now. Yeah.
That's fair. I'll go ahead and in the 6th round, it's my third running back. I'll go for Cam Akers, and that means I'm probably going to be looking for Darrell Henderson later on in the draft, most likely. So we've got plenty of time. Why don't we go ahead and go through our rosters? My team so far, I've got Saquon and Jonathan Taylor as my 2 starting running backs, Kenny Golladay and DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is a wide receiver too, again. Love that. George Kittle, just the advantage that guy's going to have for the tight end position. It's just beautiful. And then Cam Akers in the flex. Not the most. There are other flexes that you can have that are going to be a little bit more safe, a little bit more guaranteed. But hey, why not take a flyer on the Rams running back and possibly, if I can get Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown, I'll definitely have one running back out of those guys. Maybe, I don't know. Tyler, why don't you go ahead and read off your team?
Okay, so my 2 starting running backs, I got Derrick Henry and James Conner. I'm very happy with that 1-2 punch. Those 2 guys, I feel like, can both be studs in this league. Travis Kelce is a no-brainer. That's gonna solidify my tight end position. That's a position where you're looking for bonus points if you don't have a stud like Kelce or Kittle. So it's just like a bonus point position. So now all of a sudden I got consistent yardage where I could get out of that spot. So that's a huge plus. My flex spot, I got Raheem Mostert, who earlier I said like San Fran's gonna run the ball a lot, I think, and they're a good team, so I think he's gonna get a lot of touches. And he was their goal line guy last year, so I'm happy about that. And then my 2 starting wide receivers, I got Robert Woods and Marvin Jones. And Robert Woods particularly, I think is going to get a lot more end zone looks this year with Brandon Cooks and a couple other guys leaving. And Marvin Jones, like I said before as well, I think it's a bit, honestly, looking back, it's probably a bit of a reach for him, but I'm happy with him. So I'm not gonna second guess myself here. I'm happy with him in my starting position there.
Yeah, I feel like Marvin Jones has been rising steadily all throughout this offseason, and rightfully so. When he started, he was pretty low. Question regarding Raheem Mostert: are you looking to handcuff later in the draft with, say, a Tevin Coleman or a Jerick McKinnon?
I would probably be looking Coleman if he's available at a pick that I want to take I'm trying to think where I would probably wait at least. So I'd have to look. Hold on. Let me take a quick look at where he would be.
Sure.
As far as,
sure. And while you look, Aetan, why don't you go ahead and read off your team and let's chat about it, because I'm liking the looks of it.
Yeah. So first off, let me just jump in and say Marvin Jones, statistically, when he was in the lineup with Golladay, he was equal to Golladay, and you're not drafting Marvin Jones in the first 2-3 rounds. So if you get a player that's equal to a guy that's going, wide receiver, what is he, like 12, or is Golladay around there?
Golladay's top 10, I believe.
He's top 10, yeah.
So if you're drafting a player that's literally equal stats when they're both on the field and you're getting them in the 6th round, I don't think that's a reach. His value, you might have been able to push it. There's one thing I can tell talking with you gentlemen is there's very low chance that I'm getting a Marvin Jones in our CANAM draft, because all of us just keep seeming to building this guy up. So we're all pretty high on him, and I don't think it's a huge reach. But anyways, me jumping into my team, I got to say, if this was my team starting to go into this fantasy this fantasy season, I'd be extremely happy with the start of this roster. I got Nick Chubb and Melvin Gordon as my 1-2 running backs, which are both very high burst play huge chunk yardage type players. Like they make huge holes and they gain massive plays. So they can take balls home from 40, 50 yards out. And I'm quite excited to have those two as my top two running backs. And then we got Julio Jones and Adam Thielen as my 1-2 receiver, which is a very solid receiving core. I think Thielen's going to bounce back big time. He just catches everything thrown at him at a half-point PPR. He's going to be very, very successful in that offense. And then on my flex, I got Tyler Lockett, which kept dropping, and I'm ecstatic to see him on my flex at that spot. And then on the bench, I got Devin Singletary already. So I already have a third running back that I can plug and play if one of my guys gets hurt, which is a potential with Melvin Gordon. So I'm quite happy with the start of this roster so far.
Yeah, it's really good. Really quick, Galladay currently going off the board as the wide receiver 7. Tyler.
7, yeah.
Tyler, do you have an answer as far as where you handcuff Raheem Mostert?
I'm looking at the just based on the rankings of the website that we're using here. They got him as probably the 10th. They probably got about 9 or so running backs in between here. So I'm looking to wait at least 2 more rounds. So we're on the 6th round currently. I don't think I'd try to draft him till the 9th round. If he goes off before that, I'm not going to lose any sleep about it.
Yeah, that's fair. After all of that, I'm going to go ahead and draft Marquise Hollywood Brown. Easy pick in the 7th. If Michael Gallup fell to me, I probably would have went there. I know that Aetan and I have had some discussion about who will be better. I'll tell you what, interchangeable. I love them both. So if I can get either one of them in the 7th round, I am happy. Especially, that's one player, Marquise Brown. He is a home run hitter. Next off the board, we've got DeAndre Swift, Josh Allen, Darius Geis, Julian Edelman, and we've got Tyler. What are you thinking right now with your squad?
The Team 5 swiped my pick. I was looking forward to getting Darius Geis as my first bench running back.
Really?
I think he's going to have a bit of a bounce. I think at that value for a starting running back who could probably get a lot of touch. I don't think Adrian Peterson's taken a lot of touches from him anymore. I think Adrian Peterson's time in this league is coming to an end. So, looking at what I can take, let's have a look here. So I don't know if I need a running back in this spot right now. I am a little tempted by some of these names, but what I'm going to do is probably go wide receiver. So Tyler Boyd's still sitting there. Fuller. Yeah, you know what? Interesting choices here. You know what? I'm not hugely thrilled with the wide receivers available right now. So let's go back to running backs. Sorry, guys.
No, I've done that multiple times. You start talking yourself into a corner, and then you're like, God dang it.
Yeah. So there's some interesting combos here because we got both Miami running backs are still there. Mm-hmm. You got a couple New England guys who I'm not big on New England with all these guys opting out now. So I don't think they're going to be
up to like 8.
Yeah. We got a couple Tampa Bay guys, plus I know Shady's way down in the list as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? Let's work on these Miami guys. I think I'm going to go Jordan Howard here. And then we'll see
He's a safe pick.
We'll see if Matt Breida comes back around, because I think I'd look to handcuff Breida with Jordan Howard before I worry about handcuffing Coleman.
Mm-hmm. Next off the board will be Tyler Boyd, Marlon Mack, and Matt Ryan. Yeah,
I didn't mention Marlon, but he's definitely someone I'm thinking about as a late rounder for sure.
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
Marlon Mack. I feel like he's fallen down further than he should be falling, but I think I like Howard better than Mack right now.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm a Jonathan Taylor owner, I do want to handcuff him with Mack. I think you're looking at a very successful running back in that line, and if Taylor doesn't get the game quickly, then you at least have Mack to ride for the first couple of weeks. I love the idea of getting Mack and Taylor. But, 7th round is kind of high capital for him. The main guy that I'm disappointed that I would have taken right there is Tyler Boyd. I think he's being slept on a little bit too much. I like his potential, and I would have gladly taken him here with my pick, but he went a couple before me.
Well, if you don't believe in A.J. Green doing well this particular year, then you got to go with Tyler Boyd. It's going to be one or the other. I know that T. Higgins is there, but he's a rookie wide receiver. Tyler Boyd is pretty decent, and maybe with AJ Green there, he'll take some of the pressure off, and he'll be able to do more of what he was doing when it was those two, and he was doing really well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at the picks now. I think I'm going to have to preach what I was just lecturing with the Marlon, Mack, and the Jonathan Taylor thing. Looking here and see Philip Lindsay sitting right there, and me being the owner of Melvin Gordon, and him going to a new team, and Philip Lindsay coming off 2 back-to-back 1K years. I think it's a safe pick for me to handcuff him. I do like the idea of maybe taking Ronald Jones here, but I still don't fully know if Tampa's going to trust him. If I needed another running back for high upside, if I didn't have a lot of depth, I would definitely take him. But I'm just going to take the depth pick here and take Philip Lindsay.
I think Philip Lindsay will still have some standalone value as well.
Yeah. And now that I'm back on the clock, I think I might just go ahead and take Ronald Jones here anyways. I think just based on the upside that I did say, I mean, if he does become the lead guy in this offense, he can be quite valuable.
And there it is. James White, Kerryon Johnson, Will Fuller off the board. Will Fuller in the 8th. That's a really good pick. I'm starting to warm up to the idea of getting Will Fuller all over the place.
Yeah, I'm so afraid of Will Fuller because he's just a boom or bust guy. It's scary to have him in your lineup. He's either gonna get shit he was the highest scoring single game player when he had those 3 touchdowns last year, and I had him in one league and he was sitting on my bench, and it's just it's gonna happen all the time. You're gonna have a terrible week. You're gonna bench him, and he's gonna go off, and then you're gonna play him, and he's gonna do nothing, and it's just an endless cycle of when it comes to Will Fuller. Or maybe that's just last season. I just have a bad memory of it. Anyway,
recency bias, Tyler. Come on. And also, just really quickly, we've got 5 wide receivers on team 8 and only 2 running backs. That's probably not how a real person would want to build their team.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so my plan actually worked out because I got my Matt Breida, Jordan Howard combo. So I actually think I might be done for running backs here. That's my 5th running back. I think I'm pretty happy with what I have.
Yeah, it's a lot of running backs.
Definitely enough for where we're at. Let's see here. So I've already got 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and a tight end, surprisingly balanced. I typically don't draft like this. I'm usually pretty running back heavy at this point. But it's kind of interesting to see just what the suggestions are. Right now it's saying, hey, get Carson Wentz, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson. This is the 8th round. Super trendy. Be super. Ooh, Rob Gronkowski. I know Devin would be. Would be really
don't
glad if I
don't waste your pick.
I know somebody who would be taking him in that pick, but he's not on this shit tonight.
Yeah, at this point, with the kind of balance that I have, I might as well go for Carson Wentz. Waited long enough for a quarterback. Nice to have him. Ooh, CeeDee Lamb. Oh, maybe I should have done CeeDee Lamb instead. All right. 9th round. Now, this is a spot where I want to go ahead and get some more running backs. The majority of the no-doubter running backs are off the board, so I'm starting to turn my head towards, say, the high upside backups. So I'm probably going to skip like a J.K. Dobbins. Well, J.K. Dobbins has the potential for sure. Tariq Cohen, I'm going to go ahead and skip. Keyshawn Vaughn, I just think that's too crowded a backfield. If I'm not getting Rojo, I'm not going to bother. I love Latavius Murray in this spot. Oh, but I'm the Cam Akers owner. Will Darrell Henderson fall to me? You know what? Let's find out. Of course, now the boys know what my strategy is. But, I mean, whatever. Latavius Murray in this spot, I love that pick right there. Gronk goes off the board. Ha! Darius Slayton, J.K. Dobbins, and Christian Kirk. Are we sleeping on Christian Kirk?
Not with Hopkins there. I don't think so. I think Kirk's value plummeted when Hopkins got there because they're both deep threat guys, and I think that hype train in Arizona about airing it out all the time is not actually happening. If they're really running this all air offense for real,
it's the air raid offense, Tyler.
Offense, yeah. Sorry, it didn't happen last year. I don't see it happening this year. I don't know. I think Kingsbury is over his head in Arizona over there.
Well, maybe it just takes him a year to get it set up. We'll see.
Here's a guy who I think could be a steal at this spot. Emmanuel Sanders.
Ooh.
Nice. Yeah, there's definitely. Holy shit, Freeman. Sorry, pardon my language, but Freeman just went right before me. That's a very interesting one. I don't think I would be taking Freeman to sit on my bench in the 9th round. I mean, geez.
That's pretty crazy.
So looking at my team, I definitely kind of want to get some more wide receiver depth here. There's definitely a lot of good options. A lot of rookies here. This is kind of the rookie area. You're seeing a lot of them there.
Yeah.
I'm not really excited to draft a rookie. I mean, I could draft one of these guys and put them on my bench for a couple weeks and see if they pan out after a couple weeks. The problem is I'm not exactly the most patient man in the world. So if I don't start seeing production after 2-3 weeks, I tend to cut them and then regret it by the end of the year. But I think I'm going to take, probably the safest wide receiver I see on this list and the guy that just seems to get, 7 to 10 targets a game, and that's Jamison Crowder. I think that with I can't remember the quarterback's name right now. Or Darnold. With Darnold being a little bit healthier this year, I really liked what Darnold did in his rookie year. His second year was not all that special, but I think he's got potential, and I like the idea.
Special.
Yeah. yeah.
Well, so long as he doesn't have the bumps, I think that it's going to be just fine.
I think if they put him in a bubble, it should be okay, right? I don't think you're getting mono in the bubble.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, mono. Sorry.
So looking at my team now, there's 3 picks left. I don't have a quarterback, and I don't have a tight end, and I'm missing one more bench player. So I think at this point, I might want to look at maybe grabbing Aaron Rodgers at this spot. I think it's just kind of cool that he's this low, and I think the upside is there. If Aaron Rodgers didn't come to me, I probably would take a flyer on Baker Mayfield, just based on what he did in his rookie year. And everyone's like, "Oh, this guy sucks. This guy sucks," because last year didn't go very well. But it takes quarterbacks a couple of years to really learn the game, learn the system, learn the speeds. And I think Baker Mayfield is a very good pick, but I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers at this point.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, really good post-hype sleeper. One of the things you said, going back to the wide receiver conversation, there was a lot of rookie wide receivers, and I think the best thing that you said before we started this draft was that this is a basically redraft. So you want to have players that are going to be able to contribute now. And it's difficult to have some of those rookie wide receivers or Wookiee wide receivers. Wookiee ride with receivers
would be better tight ends than wide receivers.
I really want someone to do a Wookiee, a Chewbacca impersonation now, but I don't want a submarine this stream.
I'm doing my best to do that as it is. Come on. Okay, Tyler, what are you thinking? You've got 5 running backs already. Go ahead.
Aetan made a great pick. Aaron Rodgers. I had Aaron Rodgers queued up and ready to go here, so
nice.
Yeah, that's a great spot for him. It's kind of throwing me off because honestly, I don't think I'm going to go quarterback now because I was ready to go quarterback because Aaron Rodgers is sitting there, but I think I'm going to just go 0 quarterback and draft him in my last spot. So I'm going to go back to wide receiver. I know I'm going to go to the exact opposite of what Ryan was just saying. Not trusting these rookie wide receivers, but I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy here. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. I think Denver has a lot of offensive weapons. I know Cortland Sutton's going to be the main guy there, but Jeudy is potentially a guy who could be helpful. And at this point, we're drafting for our bench. So if I hit a home run on a low pick here, that Judy's the guy I want to go with right now.
No doubt. And I'll go ahead and go against what I said as well. But first, let me just recap all the players who just went. So this is part of the reason why I'm going against what I just said. We've got Duke Johnson off the board. Alexander Madison, great pick. Does Team 5 have? No, does not have Dalvin Cook. But that's okay. Tony Pollard. Alvin Kamara owner. Well, that's great too. Boston Scott, also gone. I'm going to go ahead and go with the wide receiver that I think is going to get the most play in Philly just because of situation. And from all the reports, apparently he's a very mature wide receiver. It's Jalen Reagor. I love Jalen Reagor in that spot. Why not? We only have 2 more spots left because we're not going to be drafting defense or a kicker. And at this point, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers, 4 running backs. Let's see if there's anyone left. Super trendy to Darrington Evans. Why not? Why not get Darrington Evans at that point?
I feel like you're saying you're going to take someone with your next pick, but I can't even remember who it was. And you're like, my guys now know my strategy, but I don't even remember who you were talking about.
I forgot too.
I can't wait to rewatch the stream and then be like, hey, you never took this guy. You said you would.
All right. I'm someone who I think is not going to be a great player in Week 16, but who may be a week winner in Week 1 and 2, and that's Rams running back Malcolm Brown here. I think he's going to be the starter Week 1 and 2. So I think at that second last pick of the draft, I think I'm happy.
That's what it was. It was Darrell Henderson. I was going to pick Darrell Henderson, but he went anyway, so it's fine.
Okay. Just to go back to last podcast that we did, I was saying that our resident Ram fan was quite high on this guy, and you can see what I mean. So we were talking about the 3 running back system, and I did say, you might want to go with Tyler's suggestion here and grab Malcolm Brown. Is it Malcolm Brown?
It's Malcolm Brown, yeah. And
Malcolm Brown as a running back just to go for the first couple of weeks while they figure out their backfield.
True.
Exactly, yeah. He's going to be the starter at the start of the season, so why not go with the explosive offense and starting running back this late? You can't go wrong with that pick because you could drop him later, and every year there's plenty of guys you want to take off the waiver wire, right? So why not take a guy who's going to be solid for a couple of weeks and then let you work the waiver wire later?
Yeah, that probably would have been a better pick for me because I am the Cam Akers owner. That being said, I love the trendiness of Darrington Evans.
Yeah. Hey,
if Derrick Henry breaks down, he is in. He's an injury away from being a number 1 running back.
So this Rashad Penny, is he ready to go?
No.
He's not ready to go, right?
He's not.
Yeah. I mean, I see him sitting there
on the pup.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Anyways, it's my pick right now. I'm looking at the list here, and there's one player that I think I'm going to take a flyer on, and this is a player I'll probably cut in 1 week if I don't like what I see. But I really do think that Damien Harris has a chance to take over the lead back role from Sony Michel. I'm not a big fan of what Sony Michel has done. He came in and dominated the playoffs the first year he was in, and then he's been just very, very mediocre at best since. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, and this is a New England team that's a brand new look team. I think they're going to try to go back to the basics, and that's just run the football and play defense. So I do like the Damien Harris pick at this point. I think it's a great value, and if it doesn't pan out, I'll have no hesitation to cut him in a week or 2.
True. All right, and Justin Jefferson off the board, Tom Brady, and back to you, Aetan.
Geez, I almost drafted a second quarterback because I had already taken Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so looking at my team, I need to grab a tight end to wrap my team up.
Beauty.
I can grab Tyler's favorite guy here, Hayden Hurst, which I think is kind of the no-brainer. So I'm gonna let Tyler laugh and pretend he's an evil genius. But at this point, I'm looking at this list, and Hayden Hurst, Jonnu Smith, T.J. Hawkinson. These guys are all kind of equal to me. I even wouldn't mind Blake Jarwin at this point. I think all these guys are quite capable of being the same player fantasy-wise. So I'm going to go with the guy that always seems to have success with tight ends, and that's the Atlanta guy.
Cool.
Yeah. You know what? If I didn't take Kelsey as early as I did, Hurst would have been off the board probably 3 or 4 rounds ago for me.
Which would have been fine. I would have grabbed another one of the guys that I just mentioned, and I wouldn't have lost any sleep.
But looking at it, seeing as how he went this far down, I'm thinking maybe I'm overvaluing him a bit. So that's something to think about.
Nice
All right,
adjustment for other drafts for sure.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to go QB here. And so there's some names like Roethlisberger coming back from the injury. I don't trust that much. I love Jared Goff. I think he's going to have a bounce back year, but there's a guy who's way down in this list, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. And that is, I'm just going to plug him in here. You guys,
Man, shoot.
Teddy Bridgewater, guys.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Wow.
Oh, no. Oh,
Wow.
man. Even in a
Really?
2 QB league, which I think we might do, right?
I think you
we're
guys-
good. Yeah, if you guys are up.
I think
Yeah.
everybody's underestimating Teddy Bridgewater. This guy came out of the same college as Lamar Miller. He was a highly touted prospect. He had that horrific injury, set him back. But look what he did. His numbers in New Orleans were just as good as Drew Brees' numbers for those. I believe it was 3 or 4 weeks that Brees was down. He put up some great numbers. He proved he can run a high flight offense. And Carolina, they got Christian McCaffrey. They got DJ Moore and those guys. They got some weapons that Bridgewater can work with. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. And at the last round, you know what? Worst case scenario, he busts and I pick a different quarterback. So I'm not. There's no risk with this pick. So might as well try to hit a home run here.
There's no risk, but there's no reward.
I think I think he's going to surprise some people.
Yeah, whatever. Sure.
Sweet. Well, I went with Golden Tate, and my draft grade is nothing out of 100, guys. I did really well.
How did you get nothing?
I have no idea.
Is it not set up yet?
Oh, I got an A. Yay.
Oh. Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel really accomplished. Wow.
Well, 2 of us know what we're doing, and then, there's someone a little bit lower that bombed his whole draft by taking Teddy Bridgewater. If you just took someone else, you would have probably been in the A category there, Tyler.
Oh, man.
You didn't beat the computer by making that pick, even if it's coming from the heart.
Why don't we go ahead and let's just take another quick look at our teams that we drafted for fun, and then we'll go to do another one. Hold on one sec here. Let's see. Team rosters. Cool. Why don't we go in backwards order? Aetan, how about you go ahead and tell us what you drafted?
So I got Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, which I'm not in love with, but I don't hate it. I think there's a lot of potential for him being really pissed off about what happened in the last year's draft. I think he's going to come back pretty hungry. I like the idea of a hungry Rodgers. So I'm happy with that. I think the big thing with him is his mobility is pretty much going to disappear. So you're going to lose those great yardages that he always used to grab on the ground. But I think he's not afraid to still run, and he might get a couple first downs here and there and put up a couple yards. So I'm very happy with Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, but just based on where I got him. And then for my first 2 running backs, we're going with Nick Chubb, Melvin Gordon, which is a tremendous upside on both those guys. I'm quite happy to have both those guys as my starting running backs, especially with the amount of depth I have on my bench for running backs. So if any of these guys do get hurt, I'll be more than okay. And then moving into wide receivers, I got Julio Jones, probably the safest receiver you can possibly draft in terms of fantasy. The guy just consistently gets 1,300 yards every year, and hopefully his touchdowns go up a little bit. What's that?
I said you're always adding a 0 to everything.
I know. It's just the way I talk. My next receiver is Adam Thielen. Very happy to have Adam Thielen and Julio as my top 2. And then, I'm going to say Tyler's tight end here, Hayden Hurst. I think he's a good gamble, and we'll see what he does after a couple weeks. I'm going to be actively looking for that breakout tight end, the Waller of this year. And if I don't think Hurst is it, I will definitely be playing the waiver wire actively for it, since I didn't take one of the top-rated guys. And then for flex, I got Tyler Lockett. And then down on the bench, We got Singletary, Ronald Jones, Philip Lindsay, Damien Harris, all running backs. So I got 4 running backs on my bench there. And then my other wide receiver on the bench is Jamison Crowder, who's a very, very safe player, which I'm more than comfortable plugging in on bye weeks or injuries. So all in all, I would be ecstatic to have this team going into a year. I think it's a very, very solid team, and I think it's got some potential to do some damage.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And what was your grade? What was the grade that they gave you on this one?
They gave me an A-.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I really love your team. Tyler.
Okay, so your guys' favorite pick in my quarterback spot is Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay,
So
just really quickly, I don't necessarily mind it. I just feel like there's better quarterbacks that you could have gotten in that spot, even in the last pick of the draft, given just how bad that defense is going to be. That team's going to be pretty damn bad.
I'm sorry, don't sugarcoat this. That's a bad quarterback to be starting the year with. But anyway,
I want to see you draft Teddy Bridgewater in our league.
Me too.
Do it.
Me too.
I'm pretty big on the zero QB strategy. There's a good chance I might go QB last round in CANAM. So whether or not that's Bridgewater, we'll see. But we'll see. We'll see. Moving on. So I'm very happy with my starting running backs here. I got Derrick Henry and James Conner. Derrick Henry's a no-brainer. I think James Conner is going to have a huge bounce back year. So I have no problem with those two. Like, I think that they're pretty self-explanatory. My starting wide receivers, I got Robert Woods and Marvin Jones. Woods, he only had 2 touchdowns all of last year. That's definitely going to go up. So I'm pretty excited because I think everything is going to go up with Gurley and Cook leaving. I think he's going to be a prominent part of that Rams offense. And like we said about Marvin Jones, Aetan mentioned, he's putting up the same numbers as Kenny Golladay, who's going wide receiver 7. So if I get wide receiver 7 numbers, I don't expect that from Marvin Jones, but if I get anything close to that, I'll be happy. And then tight end Travis Kelce, you can't complain about that. Like I said, that's a position you're hoping for bonus points from, but when you got a guy like Kelce, you're going to get points for sure. Looking at my bench here. So I have the full. My flex spot is Raheem Mostert. I'm pretty happy with that. I might even slot in Malcolm Brown for the first couple of weeks, depending on what the Rams are doing in that flex spot. But then either way, Raheem's there afterwards, so I'm pretty happy. As far as bye weeks go, I got the Miami backfield. So whether Howard or Breda, if one of them takes over, or if one of them goes down and the other one becomes, the only guy there, I think it's good to have both together. If I only had one, I wouldn't be too happy about it, but that's all good. And then as far as my other 2 spots, I got 2 backup wide receivers. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, is going to have a pretty solid year. I think Michael Thomas eats up a lot of looks, but Breed does throw a lot, so he's going to be spreading the ball out a bit, and Sanders might be that home run guy every once in a while. And Jerry Jeudy, you know what? That could be a bit of a flyer because, like Ryan said, we don't know how these training camps are going to look, and some of these rookies might not be as up to speed as we're hoping. And this is a redraft league, but I think he is. He's got the talent for sure. I believe Drew Lock is the quarterback there. I think he's going to have a lot of options, and they're going to move the ball pretty well, so he will have opportunities to get in the red zone. So he's a good spot as a backup wide receiver, and if he doesn't pan out, hey. It just means I get to work the waiver wire a bit more. Maybe find a backup for Teddy Bridgewater there.
Well, they certainly have put a lot of weapons around Drew Lock for sure. So it's going to be interesting to see how Denver does this year. Let's go down my team. Carson Wentz at QB. Stoked for where I got him. Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor as my 2 running backs. Kenny Golladay and DK Metcalf at wide receiver. George Kittle, very much a lot of what Tyler was saying about Travis Kelce. You can apply that to Kittle. In my flex, I've got Cam Akers, and I kind of regret not getting either Malcolm Brown or Darrell Williams. But then you look at my bench, I've got Marquise Brown. I love that pick. Ooh, Hollywood. Latavius Murray is a phenomenal, high upside running back who is high upside handcuff who has standalone value. And if Kamara goes down, ooh boy, just get ready. He is going to be top flight. Golden Tate, he might be. Don't get me wrong. I feel like he could do a lot in the Giants' offense, but I don't know.
What's that mean, though? Like, what's a lot of, a low number?
I mean, it depends. Like, I still feel like whoever gets the slot is the one you want, and you don't know whether it's going to be him or Sterling Shepard. So here, flyer on Tate. Why not? I got him with my last pick.
No, I know. It was just the way you said him. I just had to jump.
Yeah. No, it's totally warranted for sure. And then Jalen Reagor and Darrington Evans, making sure that I screw Tyler if Derrick Henry goes down.
Yeah, that's always a bonus for you. I know.
I like the Jalen Reagor pick. I will say that. I think that he's got some potential to actually see significant role.
Well, I think that if it's going to be anyone, you could go with the Deshaun Jackson pick, which I don't know if I don't think he got.
I don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Like I don't know if I haven't heard anything. Have you guys heard anything about how Philly is responding to Deshaun Jackson's interesting controversy as always?
The fact that they haven't done anything yet might show that they're not going to be doing anything at all with it.
Time heals all wounds.
I don't know about heal wounds, but it just means they might not be putting action into it right now. So, I don't know.
Fair.
All right, so we're just moving right along into our super flex. Are we still down, or should I just shut this episode off?
Honestly, I might need to bow out of this one if we're maybe. Why don't we save it for next week's show potentially?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds great. Okay, Aetan, who would you pick? 6 slot. Just really quick, go. Let's do the first round.
Okay.
No pressure.
I think in Superflex, I mean, I think at the pick 6, you're already looking at 4 of the top running backs gone, and Michael Thomas just went. I think I would go with a quarterback here. And the question really is, do you go Mahomes or Jackson? I don't know. It's tough to not take Lamar Jackson, but I just got a weird feeling about. You know what? I would take Lamar Jackson here. I'll just do it.
I know I'd pick Lamar Jackson there.
Okay, I'm not even loaded in, but I would be taking Patrick Mahomes. I'll tell you right now. Hold on, let me see if I can bring it up. 1 second. Hold on, I have it open actually. 1 second here.
Would you take Mahomes over Jackson?
No, I would have taken Jackson if I was in your shoes for sure.
Okay.
So I'm not super familiar with super flexes, but I see those 2 guys at that value where they're playing every week, and you could throw another another quarterback on top of that. You got to go with one of those guys in the first round, I think. So yeah, I'm going to go.
Funny enough, Patrick Mahomes was right there for you. Then off the board, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams. Of course, Dak's right there, but I'm a homer. Russell Wilson, yeah. Would I actually do that?
Oh, you'd probably take Clyde Edwards-Helaire here.
I would take Clyde. That's awesome.
I feel like CEH? I don't like it. We got to get him better. Got to get him a better nickname out here.
Yeah.
No. Clyde the Glide.
I like Clyde the Glide, but I mean it was already taken by Clyde Drexler. So so why don't we go ahead and we'll do? I'm sorry. What was that, Tyler?
Drexler was a generation ago. It's time for a new Clyde the Glide.
There you go. So we'll do what we do at the end of every episode. What did you learn today, Tyler?
I learned that I might be overvaluing Teddy Bridgewater, apparently. I think he's going to surprise people. Maybe looking back, okay, fine. I would have gone with maybe a Roethlisberger or Jared Goff in that spot. But you know what? I mean, it's a mock draft. You might as well take some gambles. So I guess people know that I'm a bit high on Bridgewater this year. I think if I was to, for whatever reason, I don't think I would take 2 quarterbacks in a draft. But if I don't know, if there was nobody available and I had to go with something, then maybe Bridgewater would be my guy for my backup to be.
That's great. Well, that's interesting. I'm surprised that there's been no Daniel Jones love, because Daniel Jones was available, and I would have, if I was doing what you were doing, it would be Daniel Jones. That's
I would
just
take Minshew over Jones and over Bridgewater.
Minshew got
Minshew
COVID.
he tested positive, yeah. But
Who
it's
cares?
pretty early.
Oh, who cares?
He'll be back.
Who cares? The season's not starting for a month.
Contracted at some point.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you rather them get it done in the preseason before the actual season starts?
Yeah, no, that's true. Like Zeke, for instance.
Yeah,
Glad
I
that he
mean,
got
Zeke's
that out of the way.
fine. I'm not happy about it, but I mean, whatever. Like these are the most premier athletes in the world. COVID is not going to affect them the same way that it affects the elders and immune compromised people. This is going to be a flu for these guys. They're going to beat it, and they're going to be on the field the second they're cleared. I have no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. I don't think a single NFL player is going to die from COVID. I'd be absolutely
Here's
shocked.
hoping that does not happen.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
Sure. That's
for sure.
just,
I just wanted to load up the list here. Teddy Bridgewater is ranked as the 26th quarterback off the list. So, yeah, there you go. He's slightly better than Tyrod Taylor.
I guarantee he finishes top 20. That's an Aetan guarantee right there.
Oh, okay.
You can't give an
You can't
Aetan
use an
guarantee.
Aetan guarantee on Teddy Bridgewater. I will not allow this.
Well, let's look at it this way. If we draft a super flex next week, we know who Tyler's backup quarterback will. Backup quarterback.
Yeah.
He'll definitely be Bridgewater.
Man, I just want to take him in the first just to troll, and then we'd have to reset the whole thing. But
that affects no one but me, Aetan. Come on.
I know.
Come on, man. All right, Tyler, quick, did you have anything you'd like to plug?
Plug. I'm obsessed. Okay, go check out Hamilton on Disney Plus. It's amazing. I'm not even a musical guy or anything, but I've watched it like 3 times already. It's pretty awesome. Oh yeah, are we supposed to plug it? No.
I mean,
I'm not
plug whatever you can, man.
Anyway.
It's all good. If you like Hamilton, plug Hamilton. That's your deal. Aetan, what did we learn today?
We learned if I do a redraft, I'm very comfortable how my team's going to look. No, I don't know. I didn't really, it was fun to do the draft to see what your guys' opinions are on everyone. And I learned that Tyler's quite high on Marvin Jones, just like I am. And it's good to see some of the things that I think are being replicated throughout, and other people are thinking the same. It gives me hope that my thoughts are on the right path. But I'm just excited to see this deadline pass for the opt-out and getting some football, one step closer to actual kickoff.
Yeah, I can't agree more. It'll be nice to see some clarity for sure. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I'll plug the same thing I did last week. Check out my brother's music, Kyle Hensby. He's up-and-coming country guy. He's very good. Definitely check it out.
Awesome. And what did I learn? Well, I learned that Tyler loves Teddy Bridgewater, which is not the worst thing in the world. I actually think that he has a lot of potential. I just don't feel like he has the team around him to do much this year. That's the way I feel. But if you want a game manager quarterback, we've seen a lot of successful ones. That's for sure. So I don't know. Teddy Bridgewater, he looked really good last year with the Saints. So I don't mind it. It's just not this year. Maybe that team needs to improve. I don't know why I took this opportunity to just shit on Tyler, but hey, that's just what we do sometimes.
Hey, that's what you guys do. It's your identity.
And then let's see. For as far as plugs, I'm gonna go ahead and plug Wild Dove Music. Go ahead and check it anywhere streaming music is listened to. So you can check it out on Spotify. You can check it out on your iTunes Music. You can check it out on Tidal, YouTube. It's our good buddy Devin's band. It's amazing. Like I said, it's the soundtrack of my summer, and it could be yours too. Check out Wild Dove whenever you can. So, Aetan, Tyler, thank you both for appearing on the show today. And,
yeah, absolutely.
Until next time, I'm Ryan Phillip Lamb, and good luck on your drafts, and hopefully there's a season.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah. We'll see you all later.